Good morning, lovelies. Why God? Why this? Let's talk about it. Jesus, coffee. So, have you ever asked yourself, and I'm sure you have, why God? Why this? When a situation happens, or when something happens to you. Really just like, why God? Like, I don't understand. Why? Could be anything, guys. It could be a demotion at work. Could be loss of a job. Could be loss of a relationship. It could be loss of a family member, loss of a loved one. Could be anything. Just causes you to question why? Why, God? Like, here we are in the Advent season. And God uses anything. Good morning, Mary. God uses anything. So, God used a silly census to fulfill a prophecy to get Mary 90 miles from where she was while in the throes of being very, very pregnant. She didn't roll that 90 miles in an SUV. She didn't roll that 90 miles in a limousine. No. She was either on foot or on back of some beast. Could be horse, donkey, whatever. But it wasn't a very comfortable ride. Do you think that she was asking, why, God? Why this? Why do I have to go 90 miles? She had to go 90 miles to fulfill a prophecy. God uses something in anything as silly as a census to fulfill a prophecy. Something so inconvenient, but yet it's going to fulfill a prophecy. And it's going to put Mary where she needs to be to give birth to Jesus. His life is absurd. His birth was absurd. I listened to Pastor Rutt yesterday talk about something that really kind of opened my eyes. Like, God can do anything. He could have put Jesus on earth as a man. Jesus just could have appeared on the scene as a man. But did he? No. He came down from a throne of endless glory to a cradle that was in the dirt, to a manger, to be swaddled in cloth. Yes, Jesus needed diapers. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, needed diapers. Needed to learn to walk. Needed to learn to talk. Had to go through the whole human experience. Was born to a poor family. Wasn't born to some rich king. No. Why did he do that? So that he can understand our hurts. He can understand us. He knows and has compassion for our pain. He knows and has compassion for our loss. He knows and has compassion when we get upset. And we'll talk more about getting angry at God tomorrow. But when we understand, we'll never understand what God does. We'll never understand his timing. We'll never understand why he does what he does. That's why Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And do not lean on your own understanding. Because we have very flawed understanding. We have a very finite amount of knowledge to his infinite knowledge. If you take all of human knowledge, all of your knowledge, it is but a teardrop. His knowledge, all the water on the face of the earth. Yeah. And so we're never going to understand. Good morning, Angie. We're never going to understand what he does or why he does it. But yet, we question what he does and we question his timing. How many times in your life, and I just want you to just think about it, how many times in your life just this year have you asked God, why God? Why this? Why COVID? Why did COVID happen? Why all the deaths in COVID? Why is there division in the world? Why, God? Why? Why is there such radical division? Why does there have to be political division in the world? Why does there have to be war? Why, God? Why this? Yeah, thousands, countless. And yet he doesn't sit up there and get mad at us for questioning him. That's a loving God. He doesn't sit up there and go, you know what? I've heard enough of your grumbling. Yeah. No, that's not who he is. He's a loving God. Sent his son to experience the whole human experience. Birth, diapers, walking, talking, being a toddler, being an adolescent, learning to be a man, and then becoming a man, and then getting beaten beyond all human comprehension, and getting stretched across that cross for you, for me, when he didn't deserve it. He was innocent. Think of everything he did. Didn't you think that maybe there was some conversations in heaven about Jesus looking at Dad and going, why, Dad? Why diapers, Dad? Really? Like, can't we fast forward? Can't we make me like 13? Like, why? Who knows? There had to be some interesting conversations in heaven, I'll tell you that right now. But don't ask why. Just say, thank you. That's the response. That's the response that we have. That's the response we should have. Is thank you. Thank you for that, God. And we'll talk more about that, like I said. Just kind of wanted to put into perspective, like, where in your life and how many times of your life have you asked God why? Again, we're going to go over a lot this week. Tomorrow we're going to kind of get over just a little bit of and he really just put rolled all this on my heart, like in the middle of the message yesterday, like boom, 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 like I'm writing like mad on my notes. Yep, we're going to do a video on this. We're going to do a video on this. Yep, he was busy yesterday. Dad's got a lot to say. Let me tell you that right now. He's got a lot to say. So we're going to go over a lot of things. And ultimately, we're going to dig down and get to the response. Because you guys have heard me say it before. In anything we deal with, in anything we encounter, what's God ultimately looking for? He's not looking for us to question him. He's looking for our response. Because our growth is completely dependent on our response. So, we'll be back tomorrow. I know what Dad wants to talk about. He's got a lot to say this week. So I love you guys. I know he loves you. You guys have a fantastic Monday.